Ooh, y'all, the tea is hot today. This is actually literally tea, and it is actually kind of hot. I'm actually nursing a cold right now, so I'm drinking some throat coat, which if you ever have a scratchy throat, that stuff is the shit. And it's vegan. Hashtag not spawn. So today's video is, I don't even really know what to call it. Like, I don't want to call it a call out. I don't really feel like that's what it is, but there will be salt. So if you're on a low sodium diet, turn away now. So today I wanted to come and talk to you all about something that is kind of a hot button topic in our fandom right now, and in particular in the world of sub boxes. And that is the subject of art theft. Like, I'm honestly kind of disappointed that we have to have this conversation, TBH. Most of you know that I am a mother. I have 2 little boys, and when you're a parent, you often find yourself saying things that you really don't feel like you should need to say. Things like, don't lick the shopping cart, that's disgusting. And I kind of feel like that's what's happening right now. Like, I don't feel like this is a conversation we should have to have, because I think that it should be kind of self-explanatory, but apparently it needs to be said, so here we are, and I'm going to explicitly state it. Art theft is bad. It should be. Don't do it. There have been some incidences in our fandom in general lately where a couple of our vendors have had their work stolen by other companies, including other subscription boxes. And I get pretty protective of our vendors anyway, just because I have a really good relationship with almost everybody that we've ever worked with, and I want to uplift and support them. And when somebody comes along and takes something that they have put that much work and effort and love into, it makes me really mad. Like, I get very angry about it. And part of that, I feel like my tea is kind of extra bitter because I have something of a personal history with art theft. It makes it sound like I was part of some sort of a museum heist. It is not that interesting, but we'll tell the story anyway. So prior to starting Accio, for a very long time, I was a veterinary nurse. I did that for like 14 years, but in between, after I had my kids, I actually stopped my work in the veterinary field. And in between that and starting Accio, space of a few years, I was a professional photographer. I am actually an internationally published photographer, and I also got to work with some big name clients like the University of Kansas. So that was my main source of income for several years. And in addition to doing commercial photography, I also was a documentary style birth photographer, which means basically families would invite me into their birth spaces and I would document the story of their babies being born. I feel like birth is a sacred space. I took my job of documenting those stories and protecting those families very seriously. And with my birth photography, I started to notice that it was getting borrowed a lot by people who were writing personal blogs. There have also been people who have taken my work for commercial purposes without my permission, without the permission of the families who are involved in the photos. As a matter of fact, before I started filming this video, I did a quick Google search of my images just to see if anybody was currently thieving my work, and sure enough, they are. So that's a fun email I'll get to write later. Anyway, having experienced theft of this kind myself, I know how hurtful it is to have people take your work without your permission, without compensating you, without crediting you for the work that you've done. It's a slap in the face, to be honest. You know, you pour all of this work and time and energy and love into what you do, and just because you enjoy doing the work, that doesn't make it any less work. That doesn't make it any less difficult. And that doesn't diminish the fact that you should be paid for your work and you should be credited for your work. And at the very least, you should be asked permission to use your work. At the very least. And my co-founder, Emily, has also always had one foot in the art world as well, because her father is an art curator. So she has grown up in the art world as well. She's grown up around artists and grown up appreciating their work. And so when we started Accio, you know, right out the gate, we wanted to make sure that we were doing right by the artists that we were working with. And so we have very strict policies about how we operate and how we choose people to work with and how we facilitate getting artwork and getting pieces to put in the boxes. Typically, the way that it works is Emily and I scour the internet for awesome pieces, and then when we see something we like, we get in contact directly with the artist who has produced the piece. And we ask if they want to be a part of our subscription box. And if they say yes, then that's when we start negotiating terms for, you know, whether we're acquiring digital art and taking on the production costs ourselves, or if we are having them produce the item themselves and then sell it to us at a per unit cost. When we source something from an artist, we are paying that artist directly, either for the design or for the individual pieces if they're producing a finished product. The exception to that is sometimes with Accio exclusives. So we do have items that are designed in-house just for us. And when I say designed in-house, 9 times out of 10, that means I'm doing it. Most of our designs have been mine if they were an exclusive item. There are some exceptions. We did commission Lauren Fairweather to do our t-shirt in July. We have also had the Protego Foundation design our t-shirt last month when we did our collaboration with them. And then I have a good friend of mine who is a graphic designer who I've collaborated with on the Holy Head Harpies t-shirt that we did about a year ago. And then he also did the design for our Herbology Club hats this year. And so sometimes if I have so much on my plate that I can't really take on another design project, I will hire him to help me out. And he is someone that I trust implicitly. And I know, I know for a fact that he would never steal a design. And so I know that I can trust him to come up with something original for the boxes. So when you're buying from us, you are either directly supporting me as an artist, or you are directly supporting whichever artist or small business we're working with to source our items. It's kind of extra disappointing when this stuff happens with Potterheads, because I feel like we have such a unique community with one another, and the themes in the book, I feel like, bring a certain caliber of people together for the most part, you know, like we are such an open and loving and welcoming community. This is one of the most amazing communities when it comes to the richness of fan-created content, which is one of the reasons we started our box, because there's so much amazing stuff out there that our fellow fans are creating, and we want to highlight that, and we want to uplift and support those people. And when we see other people in the fandom taking advantage of that for a buck, like, that's such a Death Eater move. Like, who does that? I don't know if there's something in the water or what, but a couple of our vendors have had work stolen this year. And I want to advocate for our vendors because I love them. They create such amazing pieces. They work so hard for our boxes. Like, I cannot even tell you how hard these people work to make sure that all of your items arrive on time and in great condition, and that everything is up to our quality standards for you. And so when something like this happens, when one of them gets taken advantage of, it fills me with rage. Like, this is like unforgivable curse level evil here to me. And, you know, it makes me want to take out kneecaps, which is not very becoming of a Hufflepuff. But I'm in kind of a tricky position because as the CEO of the company, it's not a good look for me to slam other companies. And so I have really tried to build a community around supporting fandom artists, and our subscribers are absolutely our vendors' best advocates. With one of the most recent incidents, because one of our subscribers posted about it on Instagram and made a little bit of noise about it, the artist who was originally stolen from is now being compensated by the company who took her work without permission. I don't know, I'm obviously biased about our subscribers, but I feel like the Accio fam is really kind of something special, and I really appreciate how much you guys care, and it helps to kind of tamper the rage down a little bit when I'm feeling when I'm feeling the smoke start to pour out of my ears. But then I see that one of our subscribers has you know, made a stink about it and gotten the artist compensated. Like, that's, you know, if it wasn't for you guys and for some influential YouTubers also making a stink about it, you know, she never would have been compensated for her work. And so kudos to everybody who was involved in helping her get justice. So anyway, I just wanted to explain why it is so important to us to ensure that we are directly supporting our artists and that we are creating original content, because people deserve to be paid for their work. What a concept. So yeah, that's all I came here to say. While I've got your butt in a seat, the January box is still for sale. We are not quite sold out yet. And our theme for next month, for January 2019, is the Marauders. It's going to be a really fun box. We have some really cool artists who are helping us out with that one. And I think if you are a fan of our 4 favorite magical mischief makers, you will really enjoy this box. So if you're interested, make sure that you order before January 4th. I don't know that I'd recommend waiting quite that long because they're selling pretty quickly with Christmas gifts and everything. So if you think you might like that theme and you might like to have yourself a box, be sure that you get your order in quick. Anyway, thanks for joining me as I stood on my little soapbox today and sprinkled a little salt. I hope that you all have a magical holiday and that 2019 has lots of amazing stuff in store for you. We'll see you on our next video, and until then, take care and don't let the muggles get you down.